François Hollande. Well, with me now is Olivier Guita, who's Managing Director at Global Strat. That's a security and risk firm for governments and multinationals. Thank you for coming in.
My pleasure.
I think you flew through Brussels last week. So
Yes.
what assessment would you have of the security that was in place?
Look, being paranoid as I am, when I was walking into the terminal, I felt very unsafe and being probably a soft target, especially in light of all the threats that Belgium has weathered. The same goes with the metro that I was taking. There was no security, and we know that the transport system has been time and time again attacked by terrorists.
Hindsight is a wonderful thing. Which airports in the world do you suggest have the right sort of security that might have prevented something like this?
Look, Moscow and Tel Aviv are two good airports because they have metal detectors even before you get into the terminal. That should be looked at by a lot of airports. But most probably what is telling is the fact that after getting some intel, the Belgian authorities didn't raise the terror alert after they arrested Abdeslam on Friday. They should have raised it to level 4.
And in terms of, we were hearing that there has been a claim by Islamic State that they carried out today's attack. No great surprise in that.
No surprise at all. Most likely, this attack today was pushed forward because of Abdeslam's arrest. He may have talked to security services and they were concerned that they would be onto them. So it's a suggestion that they could have moved up their attacks.
And moved them very quickly after his arrest. Now, what does that suggest to you in terms of the numbers of terrorists there are who are able to carry out these attacks?
You are totally correct. I mean, we're talking about potentially 30 jihadists.
30?
30, yeah, 30, in Brussels that could be targeting. And security services have warned about the problem and how overextended they are, unfortunately, to tackle this threat.
I tell you what, we're just hearing, and we were just talking about security at the airport. There's a news conference going on with the head of airport security in Belgium, Arno Fies. Let's just hear what he's got to say. While we establish the sound with that, Olivier, it's a difficult balance, isn't it? Security and yet also making sure people can travel relatively free of hassle.
Yes, and then that has been the problem. But the way to do it is either you get human intelligence to the level that we should have and that we had 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and that we can protect people in the best way, shape or form, or people will have to curtail some of their freedoms. And after the Paris attacks, 80% of the French people were ready to curtail some of their freedoms in the name of security.
Are you surprised, given the attention there has been on Brussels recently after the attacks in Paris, that a city which was seen as a hub, a centre of the very jihadists who were carrying out these attacks, the city has now become a target?
Yes and no, because at some point you have to remember that the first jihadi attacks from a returnee from Iraq and Syria happened in Brussels.
Olivier, I think we can now hear from Arno Fies through a translator. Let's just join him now.
This morning at 8 a.m., 2 bombs went off in the departure hall. There were several killed, in the 10, 11 killed, and there were other injured. And we would like to thank all those who assisted and who worked relentlessly to help those in need. And particularly helping all those passengers who were there at the time. The airport has been closed since this morning following the attack. All flights have been cancelled. The airport will remain closed tomorrow. And we hope to start operations the day after tomorrow.
On va autoriser quelques questions, pas trop, hein, mais dans l'ordre.
We'll allow a few questions, not too many.
Ah, c'est trop, ça, vous policiers?
Er zijn een aantal daar van de luchthaven zijn geland. Omwille van het feit dat de luchthaven gesloten was. Maar nu zijn de luchtvaartmaatschappijen bezig om te zien hoe zij die vluchten kunnen reorganiseren. Eventueel overmorgen naar Brussel te brengen.
Kan men de schade in de incheckbaan eigenlijk op 1,5 dag al repareren om daar terug te komen?
Juan Feast there taking some questions. Still talking to the security consultant Olivier Guita. I just want to pick up on that. He's saying the airport will reopen on Thursday. What needs to have changed, in your view, at the airport by then?
Look, obviously, they're not going to be able to install metal detectors by Thursday, but there will have to be a plan to basically make the terminal safe from outside people that do not have a ticket as well. So we don't know yet if the perpetrators had tickets to fly somewhere, but that will save a little bit of hassle for the airport.
And in terms of the city of Brussels itself, what will we see on the streets now? As I say, hindsight is wonderful, but do things need to change?
Look, unfortunately, on the streets, the Belgians have done whatever they could do, because you have the army patrolling all over, and it looks like a war zone since December. So there's not much that they can do. What they can do is really implement the train station, the security on the train station that is still lacking major basic security.
Staff working at the airport, there are
Olivier,
20,000.
thank you